I began my children's rights odyssey back in 2012 and have since spent significant time reading up on family structure, and I've observed a predictable pattern. When it comes to family, parenthood, marriage, divorce, or reproductive technologies, adult desire almost exclusively drives the narrative. The children are rarely mentioned in stories about a celebrity parent's coming out, a couple's journey through surrogacy, or a 5-page spread celebrating the thrill of an open marriage. In the rare instances that children are mentioned, it's usually because they endorse the adult's choices. But most often, we're treated to adults justifying their behavior to the tune of, if I'm happy, my children will be happy. This adult-centric narrative drives more than headlines. It drives public policy. Adult feelings are front and center, whether the topic is the definition of marriage or the laws affecting adoption agencies. Adult intent justifies new laws which allow unrelated adults to be listed as parents on a child's birth certificate, or the effort to legalize polygamy. The motivation is solely the feelings of the adults involved. The prioritization of adult desire in legislation and in our courtrooms has resulted in terrible public policy, and we've arrived at a place where adult desire is masquerading as adult rights, which often results in serious damage to children's actual rights. The right to choose has usurped a child's right to life because adult desire wins the day every day. The right to marry was in pole position when we legalized gay marriage, despite our Constitution's silence on the issue. Adults invoke their right to parenthood in their push to mandate that insurance companies provide coverage for in vitro fertilization treatments. Suffice it to say, anything an adult really wants is conveniently framed as a right. The result? Treating adult desires as rights requires kids to sacrifice their human rights. What do you mean by rights? If you're confused over what constitutes a right, welcome to the party. An exhaustive catalog on thought exists on the nature of rights, and the debate is far from settled. Some claim that rights are limited to those enumerated in our country's founding documents, such as the right to free speech, the right to life, and the right to defend oneself. Others claim that humans have a right to housing, healthcare, education, clean water, government-funded birth control, and so on. The word right has been so misused that what actually constitutes a right has become difficult to understand. Discussing rights in the context of children involves added complexity, in that the parent-child relationship is unique in the pantheon of human relationships. There's nothing else like it. The commingling of child's rights with parental obligations make for disagreements even among the greatest minds. Some are willing to describe the claim a child has to his or her mother and father as a right, while others are not. We're here to explain why rights is the proper term when discussing a child's relationship to his or her mother and father. Volumes have been written on the philosophical foundation for children's rights to their parents, but this is not such a volume. This book will address the practical, not the theoretical. However, it is critical to have a basic understanding of how Them Before Us approaches this unique child right, as it is the groundwork on which the organization was built. Natural rights versus legal rights. Wikipedia does a solid job of summarizing the difference between natural and legal rights. Natural rights are those that are not dependent on the laws or customs of any particular culture or government, and so are universal and inalienable. They cannot be repealed by human laws, though one can forfeit their enforcement through one's actions, such as by violating someone else's rights. Legal rights are those bestowed onto a person by a given legal system. They can be modified, repealed, and restrained by human laws.